Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, and welcome to the St. George's University School of Medicine's White Coat Ceremony, class of 2027. I would like to recognize the presence of our guests from the Government of Grenada, Dr. Sean Charles, Chief Medical Officer, Ministry of Health, the Honorable Justice Paula Guilford, Senior High Court Judge. From the School of Medicine, Dr. Marius Lucas, the Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. Mark Clunas, our Senior Associate Dean of Basic Sciences, Dr. Dalla Noel, our keynote speaker, the chairs and heads of departments of the School of Medicine, specially invited guests, Dr. Chancellor Charles Modica, Dr. Glenn Jacobs, the provost, as well as his vice provost or assistant provost, the deans of the School of Veterinary Medicine and the Dean of Students' Office, staff, parents, and most especially our students. So welcome. I'd like to start by sharing a little bit with you a brief history of the ceremony. In 1993, the Arnold P. Gold Foundation created the White Coat Ceremony at the Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons in order to promote humanism in medicine. With guidance from the Gold Foundation, St. George's University School of Medicine, SGU, we initiated our own White Coat Ceremony in 1996, long before many other US medical schools. In 2003, the Gold Foundation founded the Gold Humanism Society, or Honor Society, an international society that's dedicated to the promotion of humanism, professionalism, and ethics in medical practice and in medical education. Unfortunately, Dr. Gold passed away at the age of 92. He was an international advocate for humanism in healthcare and medicine, and we are actually very honored to have him host him as well as his wife Sandra as our keynote speakers for the 2005 White Coat Ceremony. So that was a big honor for us. St. George's University's chapter of the Gold Humanism Honor Society is based in the Department of Clinical Skills and is supported by the Dean of Medicine's office. Our chapter has established a humanitarian student organization, and this is where our basic sciences students are able to promote humanism across the St. George's University as well as the Grenadian community. Our chapter members are nominated by their peers, so that will be you guys, and inducted during their clinical training when they're going to participate in an ongoing chapter project. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Dr. Mark Clunas, Senior Associate Dean of Basic Sciences.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you. A very warm welcome to our students. I unfortunately didn't get to meet you when you arrived in Grenada. I think I was dealing with our Term 5 students at the time, so Dr. Rayburn, she was in your very capable hands. But I've usually the pleasure of welcoming you to the School of Medicine during orientation, so it's fantastic to see you here today. And I'm also going to see you in a small group on Monday for epithelial transport. I want to say good morning to our students, especially to the guests that they've brought with them, the friends and the family. I think it goes without saying that your friends and family will play a huge part in your success. So thank you very much to those friends and family that have attended today on behalf of the students. If I've not mentioned it, I'm Mark Clunas. I'm the Senior Associate Dean of Basic Sciences, so you'll see me over the next 2 years, and I'm the administrative lead for the first 2 years of Basic Sciences. Now, what we said at orientation is the curriculum at St. George's University prepares you in 3 ways. Your medical knowledge, of course, that's a huge component of what your examinations are going to be. Your clinical skills, how you interact with patients, but the third part of that is incredibly important, and that's your professional skills, attitudes, and behavior. And as it relates to that, we talk about professional identity. And I think today is a very public declaration of you deciding who you are going to be as a physician. How are you going to project your professional identity. And you're making that commitment today, not just in front of your peers, but in front of your friends, family, and of course the faculty of the School of Medicine. Your patients are not going to know what your step 1 score is. When your patients come to see you, they're just going to assume that you're equipped with all the knowledge that you need. But what they are going to know, and those memories can sometimes last a lifetime with patients, is how you treat them with dignity, with respect, treat their concerns, and how you incorporate their thinking into their care. So that professional identity is incredibly important because it's a huge part to the outside world of who you are as a physician. Now, the good part of that is, unlike all the external circumstances that you're going to face and challenge, like examinations, difficult patients, the part of professional identity, the nice thing about it is, it's 100% within your control. You control your professional identity. You control your behavior. You control your attitudes. You control your commitment, not just to your training, but also to what you do in practice. So the wonderful part about professionalism is that you are entirely responsible for how you project that professional identity. So today, you get to make that oath. And we get to see the start of that journey as to what you are going to be and what your professional identity is going to be. Now, there are going to be many challenges, of course, to your knowledge, your clinical skills, your professional behavior especially. You are going to see difficult patients. You are going to work with peers that you perhaps don't agree with all the time. But again, the one thing I want to remind you, between every action and reaction, there's time for you to stop and decide what your reaction is going to be. Again, you are in control of your professional identity. So today, take that oath, commit yourself in front of everyone this morning, in front of your friends, your family, and your peers, and decide who you will be and what your professional identity will be. I very much look forward to meeting you on Monday in class, working with you over the next 2 years. And I want to find out what sort of physician you will be as well. So thank you this morning. I'm just going to let Dr. Jacobs come up, and he's going to say a few words as well.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Kloons. I stand on the protocol already established, and I would also like to welcome all of you to St. George's University and this beautiful island of Grenada. So students, we are very pleased that you have joined our great university, which has a legacy of success. I would also like to welcome all the family, friends, and parents here today. We are very grateful that you took the time to visit this beautiful campus and island, and for the support that you have provided to your loved ones. So our speakers today will tell you a lot more about the symbolism of the white coat, but I would like to mention to you to wear it with pride. Let it symbolize the great qualities that you possess. Attach a personal value characteristic to your white coat so that every time you look at it or wear it, you will be reminded of the special characteristic that defines you. So the moment you arrived in Grenada, you became part of our SGU community. You've probably already experienced that. This community will be your support system throughout your stay in Grenada. So make use of it. If you need something, ask. There's always somebody that will help you or refer you to the appropriate place. You will work hard and you will be busy, but also take some time to experience and learn more about this culture that you are going to be immersed in for the next 2 years. Explore this beautiful island, the beaches, enjoy the good food, maybe whether it's callaloo soup, a little bit of oil down, or go to the hash. Figure out what that is. I'm sure some of you have already hopefully been on one. And make sure to see the green flash. If you haven't done that, last night was a great time to see that. Your experience here and your exposure to this new culture will aid you very well as future physicians. So yes, you are going to go through tough times, but then take a step back, take a deep breath, and remind yourself of the quote, "This too shall pass." And before you know it, you will be a doctor. So pursue your dreams, your goals, be consistent, and remember this special day. Once again, congratulations. So it is now my pleasure to introduce you to the Dean of St. George's University School of Medicine, Dr. Marius Lucas. Thank you.
Welcome, class of 2027. We're very proud to have you in this institution. As you know, we have excellent outcomes when it comes to residency match. This year we had a monumental number for us, for the number of students that they matched to residencies, for 980 plus students. That's a great number, and as you know, yeah! And as you know, we are the #1 provider of physicians in the United States. I think that's, if you want to become a physician, this is the place. So we're very happy to have you here. You heard a lot about, and you're going to hear a lot for your 4 years with us, of advices, guidance, how to behave, behaviors, different things you have to do. But I would like to point out 3 important, if you want, competencies or skills that I believe you should always keep in your mind, especially now that you came to a new environment, you came to a new island. One of them is adaptability. You're continuously and constantly adapting. This is a new environment, this is a new island, new friends, new professors, new faculty, new place to live, and so on, so forth. So constantly you adapt. The same with your patients. Not all the patients will be a textbook case. Some of them will be very sick. Some of them will be not so sick. Some of them, they will be in terrible pain and very angry. Some others, they will be very happy. So you're going to see every single different type of personalities and situations. So we constantly adapt. So keep that in mind. The second thing is positivity. All this adaptation obviously is not so comfortable for us and for you. So you have always to see it in a positive view, right? A big smile, it's so important. Everybody wants to work with a happy person, right? Same with your patients, same with your peers, same with your faculty, same with everybody. So adaptability, positivity, and the last one, which is a little bit the difficult one, is the sacrifices. The profession of medicine, fortunately or unfortunately, requires that all of you have to do some personal sacrifices. That means I would like to go to the gym twice a day, and then take a nap, and then drink my protein shakes, and do so many other different things. Well, it's not possible. That's all good, but when you're a doctor, there is only so much time available in the day to do other different things. And the reason for that, patience comes first. All the things we do here, all the things you're going to do and learn is about your patients. So always, doctors and physicians, we're sacrificing certain part of our life, a small part, sometimes bigger part, but keep that in mind, that you will require to do some sacrifices. This is what you want to do, this is what you sign up for. But if you keep a very positive mind and a very positive attitude, and you know that you have to constantly adapt, it's by far the most rewarding profession in the world. It's the way of living. It's not only a job. So with those words, welcome again to St. George's University. I'm sure we're going to have a great time together. And we are obviously looking forward in graduation, the time that we're going to hand you your diplomas, and then you're going to do your own thing and be very, very proud. Thank you very much. I would like also to introduce you now the next important person, which it's an iconic figure for this place, is the founder of this university. It's a pioneer on his ideas for the last several decades. So with that introduction, Dr. Charles Modicum.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas, and welcome to Grenada. You like it here so far? Good, good. If you didn't, that's a bad sign. You're going to be here for 2 years. I usually get involved in these white coat ceremonies. They became part of our institution in 1996, and it stemmed from Columbia University in New York, the St. George's of Manhattan. And Dr. Arnold Gold actually came here a number of times and spoke here in Grenada. So we were very proud to, I think we were probably the first foreign school to have a white coat. And we certainly beat out a number of US schools. It was a new idea that he developed and talked about humanism in medicine. You'll probably hear a little bit more about that. And it was very meaningful that he was down here. I got to know him and had a great deal of respect for the fact that scientists do want to bring a little more warmth and humanism in the science and the art of medicine. I speak to you, it's a special, every time I do one of these white coats, sometimes I get emotional as I got older, but I won't do it today. They're already saying, oh, this is going to be a long day. I'm not up here too long. I don't write any remarks down ahead of time. I look back at the founding of the university, though. I was in my 20s, not 30s, when I became the chancellor of this university, and the reason I got that job is I founded the university, so didn't have a tough high bar to worry about. But it worked. And every time I come down, I am moved by seeing all of you, the new students. This particular class is special to me. I always try to make each class special in some crazy way in my own mind. That's the benefit of getting old. You actually get to do things like that. So you, first of all, by being in Bourne Lecture Hall, named after Jeffrey Bourne, our first vice chancellor that made this place soar, believe me. There's a lot of people that made this place go to where it is, way past the founding father. Was way too young to be a father at that time. I got to tell you that Jeffrey Bourne is with us today in a special way because this is probably the first white coat we've had here in decades because the class sizes were bigger, and we never had an April class. We only had January and the August classes coming in. So it's exciting to me because of the few number of white coaters today, we were able to have the ceremony here. If we were down in Adams Hall or something else, it looked empty. So we usually have not enough seats. Sometimes we have to have 2 ceremonies, split the classes up. So it's kind of a warm and fuzzy day. At least for me it is. Try to make it that way for you too, okay? And we have a reception afterwards, and so my goal today, which I haven't been able to do for years, the only time I get to shake all of your hands is at graduation. And I am very emotional at graduation because I know what you did. I know what you did. And I know the respect that I have for you, knowing you did it. And it's deep in my heart. I went to medical school in Spain. My proud Italian mother from Brooklyn was in all her glory when I told her I wanted to be a doctor. Not enough US schools had places in those years, and I think it was about 6,000 were going to Europe a year in 1970. So I went to Spain, didn't get in the US, went to Spain with many others. I dropped out after my first year, passed everything, learned everything in Spanish, did it the toughest way that the AMA could make me do it, because that's what they did. They limited seats for no good reason in the world. And that's why 1/4 of all the doctors in the United States are foreign graduates, most of whom are foreign born. For years, Dr. Rosemary Stevens did a paper at Yale University on how America perpetuated the brain drain in the 60s by taking the top scoring students from the Philippines, from India, from Pakistan, from all over the world, and bringing them to the States. And here's your U.S. passport. Here's your citizenship. Just stay here. And that's okay. That's good to have opportunities for people from other countries, but not at that magnitude, not at that number. We were draining some of the best graduates of those schools in those countries in those days, and that would be a free pass to the U.S. That's not right. So when I founded the school, it was a guy with a little bit of a grudge that went to Spain for 1 year, went home that summer, told my mother that I wasn't going back. You have no idea. She cried, of course, only 2 weeks, but constantly for 2 weeks. Went to church every day instead of just Sundays to pray. I would change my mind. This is true. You don't make this stuff up. So I went to law school. I made a deal with my grandfather. He came out from Brooklyn, tried to talk me out of it one more time. And I said, Grandpa, I don't want to go back to med school. Well, you passed everything. I know, it's just not for me. It's tough. I'm not into it. And so he said, okay, I can accept that. I'm going, wow, this is pretty good, you know. So you'll be a lawyer. True story. I had no idea. So I went to law school. And the reason I want to convey that to you is not to pat myself on the back, because academically, I was okay. I wasn't way up there, wasn't way down there. But I went to law school, no pre-law. I had no idea of what I would be studying in law, but I was interested in doing anything other than disappointing my Italian family from Brooklyn. I was number one in my class with 300. And the reason I tell you that, and which is why I have so much respect for you, is because after going to medical school in Spanish, doing what you have to do, which is what you're going to do, at least it's in English here, a little easier. Going to law school was a piece of cake. It was like reading short stories. That's literally what you know what case law is. I had no idea what case law was. I remember the first class I raised my hand in property law, Professor Rubenstein, and he had a doctorate in law too. That's how I get my doctorate name. I have a doctorate in law, big deal. I never practiced law, by the way, but it was a good school to graduate from. So if you've read any cases, you know they have the case name, or Roe versus Wade, or whatever, and they have the citation of the case, the page number, the liber, and the volume number, and which reporting system it's in. So I figured there's got to be some catch to this. You know, what am I doing here? First day in class, I raised my hand. They had given us an assignment. I said, do we have to memorize the citations? I swear to God, my classmates still laugh at it when I see them at reunions. And they said, this guy's going to have a tough time in law school. That's what he knows about studying law. Well, meanwhile, number one in my freshman class, because it was easy compared to what studying medicine is, especially in Spanish, but certainly here. So I say that to you not to say, uh-oh, you're going to have a tough time of it. If they accepted you in here right now, 45 years later, with some degree of confidence, I can say that you're going to do well here if it was meant to be for you. You could have a change of heart, you could have all sorts of things happen, but if you're here now, you're capable of succeeding. You're capable of doing it. And that's why, hopefully, in 4 years or so, I'm still around, I hope I will be, I will be shaking your hand in New York somewhere where we had the ceremony that year, and when I tell you how proud of you I am, I will have mentioned it. So, I wanted to introduce our speaker today, if I can. And he is a Grenadian and has done a lot for this country as well as this university. He went to undergraduate school at UWI, University of West Indies, in Barbados campus, and he double majored in biology and chemistry. He subsequently did postgraduate research in chemistry there in Barbados as well. He earned his Doctor of Medicine degree from St. George's University. And he did research and work at Mount Sinai School of Medicine at the Queen's Hospital Center, became a resident there, and became chief resident there. And by the way, at one time when we were calculating it, about 25% of our graduates became chief residents in their programs, which is an anomaly in terms of numbers. And why is that? Because they had the same commonality that you have, that they wanted it bad, they worked hard. When they got to their residency programs, they couldn't shake that off. Residency directors noticed that, and that's why people like Donald Noel, who I'm introducing now, and others from St. George's become chief residents in a very high rate compared to other medical schools. He did postgraduate training and has a postgraduate diploma in endocrinology from the Queen Mary College at the University of London. And then, see, when I have to read, I like to talk, but I have it all written down here. Wouldn't have remembered all of this for sure at my age. He came back to Grenada. Many Grenada scholarship students stay in the States or in Great Britain. God bless them. If they all came back here, we have 20 a year going to the school. If they all came back to Grenada, we'd have the crazy problem of having too many doctors in the country. Think about that. So many of them stay in the States or Great Britain and or other countries and practice there and live their lives there, come back here often. So we're proud of that too. And but he did come back. He became the Associate Dean of Clinical Studies in the Caribbean. And at the General Hospital, he became the head of the Clinical Training Unit. He now still co-chairs the Department of Clinical Skills of St. George's University. So he's done a lot here for the nation and for the university. He's one of over 20,000 graduates now. But whenever I get to talk about one, I get to recognize the contribution that person made. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce one of my proud graduates that I shook the hand of many years ago, Dr. Donald Noel.
Pleasant good morning. I stand on the protocol already established. When I received the invitation to be the keynote speaker, as later on in life you would realize we consult with the higher bosses. And I mentioned it to my wife, and she said, grab the opportunity, because in my eyes, you're a symbol of all that the white coat represents. I would like to thank St. George's University for the honor and privilege to address you today. I want to congratulate you on your achievement and welcome you to the start of your journey in the medical profession. However, our first lesson in humanism, we must acknowledge your family, friends, and loved ones, some of whom are here with you today, and to whom you owe some degree of gratitude for their contribution in making this day a reality. You may not have gotten to this point without challenges, hard work, and sacrifices by yourself and others, and there will continue to be challenges along the way. But as Joshua T. Marine said, challenges are what make life interesting, but overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Some of you may have had previous careers. My journey was no different. Coming from a small island like Grenada, a developing country, where the average annual income may barely pay a month of tuition, I had to work hard to earn scholarships to further my education. Graduating from high school and local college, I went into education as a high school teacher and received a scholarship to pursue studies in primary and secondary education in the USA, following which I returned and worked hard and awarded a scholarship to pursue a bachelor degree at University of the West Indies, where I double majored in chemistry and biology. And subsequently, I was awarded a scholarship by that institution where I began postgraduate studies in chemistry. And believe me, I loved analytic chemistry. But it was at this point, my classmate and close friend said to me that I am losing focus because right from the start, I said that my goal was medicine. No matter what your circumstances and challenge are at the beginning of your journey towards earning that medical degree, follow your dream and always be mindful that it will take hard work to achieve your goals. As soon as I graduated from medical school, I married that classmate who steered me back in the right direction. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation instituted the white coat ceremony in 1993 as a way to emphasize humanism in medicine at the start of your medical education. Humanism represents the basis of medicine throughout history, beginning from the time of Hippocrates and the development of the Hippocratic Oath. Arnold P. Gold Foundation reported that humanism is characterized by a respectful and compassionate relationship between the healthcare provider, that is you, and your patients. And the humanistic characteristics that you should strive to embrace include integrity, excellence, compassion, and altruism. That is the capacity to put the needs of others before yours. Respect, empathy, service, and that's the basis of my keynote address. As you receive the symbolic white coat today, there are values, expectations, and responsibility that comes with it. Dr. Gold believed that a declaration of commitment when the student accepts the obligations of the profession, as you're doing today, should be taken at the beginning of medical school, not at the end during graduation, as was the custom. Dr. Gold felt that graduation was too late to set expectation for the clinicians the medical students will become. He believed in a humane approach to patient engagement. In an interview with the New York Times in 2016, Dr. Gold said, and I quote, "I was making wrongs with my students and residents, and a student presented me the patient with the brain tumor in 2009. And I said, 'The brain tumor? Is there a child involved in this? Tell me about the child. Tell me about the family. Tell me how this is impacting on the family. Do you know any of this?' And he didn't." Dr. Gold, who was a pediatric neurologist, believed in a humane approach to patient engagement and the importance of an empathetic bedside manner. For many patients, as you will discover, the white coat inspires trust, respect, and confidence. As a clinician myself, during my ward rounds, I usually place a hand on my patient's shoulder, the human touch, and that is culturally acceptable in my country. It calms the anxiety, it builds trust, and it demonstrates empathy. Dr. Francis W. Peabody, in an article published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in 1927, said, "One of the essential qualities of the clinician is interest in humanity, for the secret of the care of the patient is in caring for the patient." Thanks to the Arnold P. Gold Foundation for initiating the white coat ceremony of which you are part today, and especially the virtues that the white coat symbolizes. In the American Journal of Association, Journal of Ethics, one author writes, "Many patients now view the white coat as a cloak of compassion and a symbol of the caring and hope they expect to receive from the physicians. As we put on the white coat today, it marks your entrance into a most noble profession. Sir William Osler is known as the father of modern medicine for revolutionizing the way in which medical education was taught during his tenure at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. And he said, and I want you to remember that during your 4 years, the practice of medicine is an art, not a trade, a calling, not a business. Today, as I urge you to remember one of the humanistic characteristics that the white coat signifies, that of altruism. And that is the capacity to put the needs and interests of another before your own. At one point in my career, after completing residency in internal medicine and my year as chief resident, I was looking at opportunities for fellowships and jobs offered by recruiters who were numerous in those days, and we called them headhunters. And the prospect looked good. And then I was at home one evening, and I got the call from my lovely island that 2 of our great and stellar internists had left, and they needed an internal medicine physician. And I said, I will think about it. At that moment, my second boss again said, she jolted me back to reality and said, you have an obligation to the people that give you the opportunity. There is nothing to think about. At that moment, the significance of the responsibility placed on me by wearing the long white coat was crystal clear, putting the needs of others before yours and a commitment to service. The responsibility was huge and the challenges numerous. At one point, being the sole internist at the hospital for 9 months until help came, at an institution with many limitations in terms of what the facility could have offered at that time. Always remember that service is one of the attributes of the humanistic healthcare professional that is defined by the Gold Foundation as the sharing of one's talent, time, and resources with those in need, giving beyond what is required. As a practicing internist in Grenada, there were many challenges. The threat of Ebola came, and I was on a plane heading to Havana, Cuba, with some of my regional colleagues to learn from the Cuban doctors returning from the front line. The Zika came, chikungunya outbreaks came, and I became the infectious disease doctor, embracing a numerous training from the Pan American Health Organization, together with one of my colleagues who's sitting here today. COVID-19 came, and I again became the infectious disease specialist in Grenada. But through medical school, I formed many bridges, as you will form many bridges as well, because the next person sitting next to you may be a neurologist, they may be an infectious disease specialist. Build bridges during your 4 years at St. George's University. I had the benefit of consultation with many of my colleagues, mostly SU alumni, and as far as China, having Zoom meetings with the first affiliated hospital at Zhejiang University School of Medicine so I can benefit from the expertise of those in the front line. Challenges will always be there. According to the Gold Foundation, the humanistic healthcare professional must demonstrate respect and resilience, and that is the regard for autonomy and values of another person. As you wear that white coat today, please remember that you have to respect, support, and encourage your classmates who are now your colleagues. You will be in a culturally diverse environment, and respect for your colleagues' culture and belief is essential. Think of yourself as a team whose ultimate goal is success, and to become good physicians who are compassionate, tolerant, honest, and selfless. By donning that white coat, you're committed to behaving honorably throughout your career and to abide by your institution's honor code. Learning to respect each other is one of the values that defines the profession and make one worthy of the privilege of wearing that white coat. Conduct yourself with integrity and share your expertise and knowledge. As a medical student at St. George's University, I loved anatomy, but I had no intention of becoming a surgeon. So every evening, I would voluntarily find myself in the anatomy lab tutoring students. There were 2 other classmates who did the same. One day, I was called into the office of the chair, and I was very apprehensive, trying to figure out, what have I done wrong? To my amazement, he thanked me for the work I've been doing, tutoring the students, and he then instructed his secretary to sign me up as a teaching assistant and to pay me for all the hours that I have been volunteering. I urge you that you have to be selfless and you have to help each other. It is not a competition. I remind you also that as you try to improve the health, well-being, and quality of life of others, you must also remember to take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being as well. Empathy, defined by the Gold Foundation as the ability to put oneself in another situation, example, physician as patient, is one of the humanistic quality that the Gold Foundation emphasizes. And I quote William Osler again, "The good physician treats the disease. The great physician treats the patient who has the disease." And Hippocrates, another father of medicine, also said, "Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity. Be good listeners and show empathy for your patients. Quite often, by listening to the patient, they may give you the diagnosis." And there are many examples I can give you. There was an occasion I was at the bedside, a case was presented to me, and I was taking the history from a 21-year-old young female. She presented with shortness of breath. As I took the history, she was concerned about the shortness of breath, but neglected to tell the doctors that she was also having hemoptysis, coughing up blood. As I listened to her describing the episode, she indicated to me that hemoptysis occurs every time she's having a menstrual period, and it's happening now. The patient gave me the diagnosis. It turned out that the patient had endometrial tissue in her lungs, and she had what you call pleural endometriosis. And this occasion, it gave her a pneumothorax, prompting her to come into hospital. Another interesting patient I saw at the bedside, she was sent in by her general practitioner, who observed electrolyte abnormalities and new onset diabetes. And approaching the bedside, as usual, with a hand on her shoulder, there was a very young, obese Afro-Caribbean female with rounded face. In taking the history, she gave me quite a good history, but she said one thing to me while I was listening to her. She said, 9 months prior, I was fine. And then she proceeded to take out a phone, and she showed me a picture of herself 9 months ago, and she was a slim young female with a broad smile. The patient gave the diagnosis. The patient, through our investigation, ended up having a tumor in her lung that was producing a hormone called ACTH that was stimulating her adrenal gland to make excess cortisol, giving her a condition called Cushing disease, resulting in her obesity, her hypertension, and her diabetes. We were able to cure her through surgery. Always remember, listen to your patients, listen to your colleagues. Listening to your patients will often give you the diagnosis. Cicero once said, "Silence is one of the greatest arts of conversation." I was warned by my co-chair that your keynote address should be about 3 pages. I want you to know that you're part of a fine and noble institution which is committed to the success of all its students. I'm a proud alumni of this institution, and I'm still wearing the white coat with pride and dignity. We must also remember that as students, we are ambassadors of this institution as well, and must represent its core values well. As a student and a former graduate of University of the West Indies, I wanted to complete my medical education by doing my elective and sub-internship in the Caribbean. So I was in the region along the students of University of the West Indies, and that was the first encounter with a St. George's University student. And all eyes were looking at me. Every week we had to attend grand rounds, and the professor of medicine would head the sessions, and he would ask questions of everyone. Whether you're an attending or a student, he will ask you questions. And whenever he asked a question, he would turn to me and say, "Grenada, what's the answer?" After the first two encounters, I usually like sitting in front. I came early, and I took a seat at the back where I was not visible. But he was wise to those old tricks. I could have seen his eyes scanning the room when he asked a question, and he still called out, "Grenada." I must say, I was well trained at St. George's University, and I represented my institution well. And I urge you to do the same. When you get to your clinical rotations, you will be alongside students from other universities. Do not be intimidated. Work hard. And make your institution proud. You will soon discover that this is an institution that cares about you and put its students first. A few months ago, for the first time in my life, instead of carrying a stethoscope, I found myself lying on an intensive care unit bed with a stethoscope being placed on my chest. I was at the other end of the spectrum, and one afternoon, the nurse said to me, "You have some visitors, and I think they look very important." And I turned around and I looked up, and I saw the Chancellor of St. George's University and his wife, the Vice President, the Dean of the University, and the Senior Associate Dean of Clinical Studies. I assure you today that you're not only part of a fine institution, you're not only part of St. George's University community, but you're part of a truly amazing family, the SGU family. Welcome. Oftentimes it is said that medicine is no longer a noble profession, but I assure you to the contrary. By donning that white coat and adhering to the values it represents, you will ensure that medicine remains a noble profession. I congratulate you, and I encourage you to put your all into it and enjoy your studies at St. George's University. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Noel, for those very inspiring words, which I'm sure our students will take with them as they're developing their professional identities using the tenets of empathy, integrity, altruism, respect, and of course, service. So at this point, St. George's University School of Medicine will now present you with the white coat, symbolizing your entry into the profession and your commitment to uphold the duties and trust associated with medicine and with medical training. So this is a good part, guys, for you. So I will now invite the college directors to take the stage. Our quotas today include Dr. Mayana Charles, Dr. Vivek Niguri, Dr. Rachel George, Dr. Crystal Rampasad, Dr. Aisha Sultana, Dr. Gabrielle Walcott-Badeau, Dr. Dion Forrester, and Dr. Michonne Sukupratab. In recognition of our international enrollment, Dr. Sasha Lake, our Assistant Dean of Academic Affairs, will call each student by name and state their country of birth. Those students today who have with them a physician, family, or loved one will be quoted by those physicians. Please hold your applause until all students on the stage have been quoted, and we're also asking that you keep the aisles clear for the duration of the quoting.
Students from Blackwell College to be quoted. As I was you, I'll put the papers down because you put your hands up. Keep them, sorry, keep them. I thought that was the other menu. Yes, the program. The program, sorry. No problem, thank you. I will now call on the students from Blackwell College to be quoted. Nazia Khalil, United States of America, Illinois. Zili Obo, United States of America, California. Hannah Pauley, United States of America, Florida. Natalie Ulse, United States of America, Virginia. Frank Urena, United States of America, Massachusetts. I will now call on the students from Curie College. Mohammed Al-Zawini, United States of America, California. Parnian Baharluri, Canada, Ontario. Greg Hackett, Trinidad and Tobago. Shamari John, Trinidad and Tobago. Madeline McIntosh, United States of America, Michigan. Yoga Rajamani, United States of America, Maryland. Abera Ravindran, Canada, Ontario. Kimberly Watts, United States of America, Florida. I will now call on the students from Fleming College. William Wild Bota, United States of America, California. Shaban Geeth, United States of America, Florida. Nitish Kindri, United States of America, Michigan. Zakiya Lewis, Bermuda. Amanjeet Minhas, United States of America, New York. Jasma Munnins, Bahamas. Saad Rashid, Pakistan. Beatrice Ray, Cuba. Kelly Scarvera, United States of America, California. Britton Swisher, United States of America, California. Natalie Thomas, Jamaica. Christian Volkman, United States of America, Washington. I will now call on the students from Galen College. Luke Austin, United States of America, Florida. Samuel Che, United States of America, Michigan. Katarina Croran, United States of America, New York. Zoe Lambert, United States of America, New Jersey. Hunter Luce, United States of America, New Jersey. Sierra Lowe, United States of America, Georgia. Omer Mien, Canada, Ontario. Brandy Free Way, United States of America, Pennsylvania. Rabi Samer, Iraq. Skylar Smith, United States of America, Kentucky. I will now call on Hippocrates students. Jason Archinido, United States of America, Florida. Erin Harris, United States of America, California. Sakina Hussein, United States of America, New York. Joel Inseong, United States of America, Illinois. Shilpi Karen, United States of America, Texas. Tatum Maestas Hall, United States of America, Colorado. Erin Place, United States of America, Ohio. Sharia Rickenvar, India. Holly Vasquez, United States, New Jersey. Cheyenne Hominick, United States of America, Ohio. I will now call on the students from McIndoe College. Julia Huff, United States of America, California. Corey Lane, United States of America, Colorado. Jasmine Mashiana, Canada, British Columbia. Norma, United States of America, New Jersey. Matty Sembin, United States of America, New York. Emily Simcox, United States of America, Indiana. I will now call on the students from Methodora College. Santisha Ellison, United States of America, Georgia. Louisa Flake, United States of America, Florida. Bilal Jamaluddin, United States of America, New York. Pana Kosal, Cambodia. Samuel Leitis, United States of America, Maryland. Ruth Phillips, India. Sadhana Polinari, United States of America, Florida. Navneet Kaur, United States of America, New York. Ton Tran, United States of America, Florida. I will now call on the students of Peabody College. Joel Arulnanantham, Sri Lanka. Mohammed Fadai, Canada, British Columbia. Fakhri Hassana, United States of America, Pennsylvania. Jeffrey Matthew, United States of America, New Jersey. Nathan Wong, United States of America, Louisiana. Shiza Zahid, United States of America, Massachusetts. I will now like to call on the students who will be robed by their designees. Leah Maria Ayad, United States of America, Ohio, coated by her father, Dr. Ansi Ayad. Shivani Rao, United States of America, New Jersey, coated by her father, Dr. Chittaranjan Rao. Eric Lang, United States of America, Maryland, coated by father, Dr. Thomas Lang.
So congratulations, everyone, now that you have your white coat, and I hope we all remember the tenets of that white coat and what it means to you as budding physicians. I would now like to introduce Dr. Anna Cyrus Murden. She's our Assistant Dean for Simulation. She is also an SOM alumnus and a beloved faculty member, and she will lead you in the professional commitment. So I'd like everyone to stand, and she would stand, and she would lead you in the professional commitment. I kind of did that for you.
Good morning, everyone. At this time, it is my profound honor to invite you, class of 2027. Yay! And I'll also ask all the other physicians in the room to please stand and recite aloud with me the professional commitment. Now, this commitment was written by a student task force in 1995 and has been recited at each of our School of Medicine White Coats ceremonies. Ready? All right. Today is the beginning of my medical education and training as a physician. I acknowledge my responsibility to continue the pursuit of knowledge and understanding until that day when I will cease to be a practicing physician. I am entering training for a noble profession in which my interests must always be subservient to those who may seek my assistance. I must be ever conscious of the value of my fellow healthcare professionals and treat them with respect at all times. My classmates at St. George's University are now my colleagues, and I owe to them the same support and encouragement to achieve their goals as I hope to receive from them. I will work alongside my colleagues and professors with tolerance, compassion, and honesty. I acknowledge my obligation to adhere to the University Code of Honor and conduct myself with integrity and in an ethical manner at all times henceforth. I shall do all within my power to show myself an example of all that is honorable and good throughout my medical career. It is a privilege to have been given the opportunity to become a physician. May I ever conscious of that privilege and never abuse this. Thank you. You may be seated.
So again, welcome everyone to the noble profession of medicine. And on behalf of St. George's University, I would like to thank the Arnold Gold Foundation for the Humanism in Medicine pins that were placed on each student's white coat. Thank you to students, families, faculty, staff, and of course our specially invited guests for your support and for your presence at today's very important ceremony. That's the end of it for today. You are now all invited. Sorry, I guess. Okay, so we're invited to a reception at the Louis Marion Monica Hall. Please remain seated and keep the aisles clear until the students have exited, and then you'll be directed by the ushers in terms of how you exit. Thank you all again, and welcome.